lightly scented candles, or potpourri. And of course, the simplest approach, weather permitting, is just open a window. A good way to recreate that new home smell is with fresh paint or new carpet. Selling your home is a team effort between you and your real estate professional. Here are some tips for working together. First, listen to their advice. After the walkthrough of your home, he or she will provide you with marketing recommendations. Take advantage of this expert advice and take action. Next, be open to objective feedback about your home's condition. Think of a friend's home and how you would prepare it for sale. You'll think of things they don't even notice. Similarly, buyers see things in your home that you don't notice. Finally, provide privacy during showings. Buyers need time to think, ask questions, and discuss their feelings. Consider stepping out during these times. It can be a lot of work to prepare your home to sell, but if you follow the steps outlined in this video, your efforts will be focused on the things that count. If you have any more questions on preparing your home to sell, contact your real estate agent. Have a showtime plan. When a showing is scheduled, have a checklist ready. Turn on the lights, put things away, gather up the kids and pets, and make way for the next potential homeowner. Hopefully the last addition you make to your home will be a sold sign. Thank you for watching this video.
Is the American dream
out of our reach? Not if we can help it. We're the National Endowment for Financial Education, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get smart about their money. Log on to smartaboutmoney.org today and start taking control of your financial life.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Valley Homes on TV. I'm Debbie Giordano. This is Todd Fletcher, Stern Mortgage. You just finished viewing the Preparing Your Home for Sale information, and that lets you know what it might take in order to get your home to that market end, which is the ultimate for the buyer to look at the home. And you know, impressions are everything. That first, I think it's when you meet somebody, the first 3 to 5 seconds upon meeting that person. I think that's same. It enters in with homes. So.
Well, absolutely. That first impression is important. The curb appeal, and as folks walk through the front door and what they see, it says a lot about the home and its marketability.
Right, and also the clip talked about staging the home inside and what you can do about decluttering and moving some furniture around. Of course, in our industry, actually, professionals are the best layer of advice. Not only the realtor, but they have a professional staging people that you can hire in order to go ahead and implement those ideas too.
Well, and that really helps take some of the emotional attachment that folks have to their home.
Yeah, in fact, there's a saying that the way you live in the home is very different than the way that you sell your house. So if people can de-emotionalize themselves from that process.
That's got to be a difficult process. I mean, you've called this house your home over time. And you're keeping the end in mind in terms of being able to sell that property for its highest value is important. Speaking of values, why don't we take a look at what's happening in the market? How are things these days?
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. I'd like to give you the ongoing statistics for Milpitas, and then what I do have is the Santa Clara County medium in price ranges.
Oh, terrific.
Prices. So today there are 84 active homes on multiple listing for the single family portion, 91 pending sales, 139 have closed in the last 6 months, and out of those, 67 are under $500,000. Now let's take a look a year ago. There were 43 active on multiple listings, so we've almost doubled that inventory level today. 107 were pending sales, pretty much the same, and 148 were closed in the last 6 months, and out of that, 82 were under $500,000. So again, the market, the rubber band has stretched upward in terms of pricing.
How about condos?
Condos, 53 active today, 56 pending, and 59 closed in the last 6 months, compared to, listen to this, a year ago, only 15 were active on multiple listing, 63 were pending, and 54 closed in the last 6 months. So what we've seen is a trend in the last few months of increased inventory in that condominium multifamily market, which goes to speak, because I understand that they're not going to be building much of that product here in Milpitas. They've overbuilt in the Able Street area, so we're pretty well saturated, and it shows though in the
Shows, so
statistics.
yes, it definitely shows in the statistics.
Okay, here we go. Average home price as of the August is the reporting period. $541,903 for an average price, and a median price is $495,000. We haven't moved too much. Condo, townhouse pricing, they're down. $282,000 is the average sales price for a condo, and $250,000 for a median price.
Oh my
Amazing.
goodness.
I know.
It is amazing. Well, on the finance end of things as well, it's a little bit more difficult to get financing for a condominium these days than it is for a single-family home.
Is that due to the factor of how many are owner-occupied within the
Well,
complex?
there are a number of factors that go into that. Owner-occupied percentage will impact whether you can get a condo approved or not, but they're also going to take a look at the health of that homeowners association. Are there other homeowners there who are delinquent on their homeowners' dues? What do the reserves look like for the association? Do they have enough to put a new roof on, for instance, if they need to do that for the association?
Wow.
So
They've never looked in that deep before, have they?
no,
to that level?
No, not to that level. And so the other thing that you'll find is the down payment requirements for a condominium project are higher than for a single-family home.
I didn't know.
So you can still get a condominium at 20% down, but it is at a little bit higher rate than if you put 25% down on a condominium project.
Wow. Good to know. Wow.
So I think that may also be having an impact on what those values are because of the cash that it's taking for folks to get into a condominium.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, things for folks to be aware of. And, working with your lender, they'll help you to understand a lot of what those rules and regulations are that dictate what you can do with a loan.
But Todd, even looking at pricing at that low of 282 or 255, when someone is on the edge of whether they rent versus whether they buy, it is still more cost effective to buy a low-end condominium than it would be to go rent an apartment. Am I not correct?
When I sit down and we crunch the numbers together with clients, I sit at the table, that is almost exclusively what we find, is that the amount of money that they're paying for rent could be poured back into a property. And when you take a look at the tax implications of that as well, the tax breaks you get for home ownership, folks really do come out ahead.
And where I'm seeing the shift is from clients that have come to me that are looking to buy up. In other words, they own a condominium maybe for 3 or 5 years, and now they're looking to jump into a single-family home, and they keep that unit. It makes a great rental property, investment property. Low maintenance, as long as they pay the HOA, the homeowner's dues, everything else is maintained with it. They're great rentals.
That's correct. And again, you sit down and you crunch those numbers, take a look at the tax implications as well. But cash flow is an important part of that process as well. That you examine what the cash flow implications are going to be for you.
Well, and I know I want to go to some other factors that you brought here about financing, but just a condominium or townhome buyer, what should they look for in terms of the homeowners association that you as a lender kind of look for? What should they be doing too?
Well, we're going to look again at the percentage of homes that are owner occupied in that complex. You want to have about 70% of those homes as owner occupied.
Okay.
So 30% could be rental
Okay.
units. All right. They want to take a look and see, is that project approved by HUD? All right. And so sometimes if it's not approved, particularly if you're looking at FHA financing, you may not be able to get a loan on that project if it hasn't been already approved. So
where can they get that information?
well, they could get that from their local lender when they're talking to
Okay.
folks. We can ascertain that for
And
that
then,
particular
like you said,
project.
looking at maybe the balance sheet or statement of
Well,
assets and
Yeah, well, you know that when you write an offer on a property, you're going to get a whole bunch of disclosures.
Correct.
Yeah, so part of that's going to be the budget
Okay.
for the homeowners association. You want to make sure that there are reserves there. Do they have a preventive maintenance program in place? And you're going to want to take a look at the newsletters and the notes from those board meetings to see what's going on in
Seems
the
like that
association.
should be weighed in even before the buyer makes the offer. Don't you think so?
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's part of the consultation that, the good realtor
A good
provides.
realtor would provide for that, yeah. I think, and maybe that's the way our industry is moving, where
Right.
we need to do
But
more
it-
of that disclosure up front.
Right, but it's also part of the discovery process that folks
That's
have
true. That's true.
as they look at a property.
Right.
And so doing that, your due diligence as a buyer is important to protect yourself in that regard.
Okay, all right, fair enough. What do you? You've been emailing me, and I love your rates. So why don't you share with the folks where we're at today?
Well, interest rates continue to be very, very favorable. For a conforming loan, we're about 4.25% with no points. And again, I don't give the exact numbers here because markets do vary a little bit.
It may change tomorrow.
Yeah,
If somebody
they-
calls you today, it will change tomorrow. So.
Absolutely. So, and it's also really dependent upon your particular situation. All right, the parameters that you have, your credit score, how much equity you have in the property, etc. But the thing that I'm really watching here going forward is keeping an eye on the economy and what's happening with the economic signals. And a couple things in particular are of importance. One is looking at the job numbers. Goldman Sachs here recently put out a forecast that they don't anticipate jobs really to return to the economy through perhaps the first quarter or even the second quarter of next year. So that means low to no job growth. Also, the GDP growth. Are we growing as an economy? And that's going to probably be pretty anemic as we move forward. So those factors will likely keep interest rates low. I know folks who are like me, I hear all the ads on the radio and stuff that scare people into saying you got to act right now,
Right.
Before the rates go up.
Right.
And there is that possibility of volatility, but again,
Because the stock market's been rising,
It
which
has
will
been.
be counterproductive for interest rates.
Typically it is.
Yeah.
There's that tug of war for where do investment dollars go, but also we're going to be watching what the Federal Reserve Board does here in terms of their interest rate policy. They've been talking about something called qualitative easing of their policy. Basically, are they going to make it a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper for banks to borrow money? Well, we're already almost as low as you can go, from 0 to 0.25%. And so are they going to make that even easier? Or the other thing that they've been talking about, and there's been a lot of chatter about what the Fed's thinking, but so people are trying to read those tea leaves. Are they going to move back into a purchase program where they're buying mortgage-backed securities? We had that program last year. It helped to bring interest rates down, keep that market stable. But are they going to move back into a program? That program elapsed. It was part of the stimulus program. Those funds have run out. Are they going to look for additional funds, perhaps, to do that?
That makes sense.
And continue to keep interest rates low and the ability to get money at a low rate, something that keeps our economy at least on an even keel.
So from a crystal ball perspective, we're entering to the close of now 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what to tell buyers and sellers? Typically spring is the best time. Around February, March is where I see a pickup and a lot of activity where people are waiting to sell their home. What do you see in terms of financing for that period? Rates should stay relatively low.
Yeah,
even
I
to
believe
that
that.
level.
I believe that. Yes, rates are going to stay relatively low. I mean, historically low. And they might tick up a little bit from where we are at this point in time, but shouldn't help or should not hurt people's buying power much. When we took a look, particularly at the condo and the entry level market, so where those price points are and what the interest rates are, homes in the Silicon Valley here have never been more affordable than they are now.
I agree, and we are signaling off. We're getting the
the signal to wrap
the
up.
whirly twirly signs. So, is there anything else you wanted to add today?
Well, yeah, it's a great time to take a look at interest rates, and give your local professional a call. They're there to help you out, to try to figure out what's right for you and get the right advice.
Go ahead, local professional. Give your information.
Email is at Todd, T-O-D-D, at sternmortgage.com, STERNMORTGAGE. And Deb?
Deb, I can be reached at Giordano, Giordano, DJ at AOL.com. Love to hear from you. If there's a topic you want to talk about on the show, we'd be happy to do that for you. So should close for now, and we'll be bringing forth another segment, another video, which is selecting selecting an agent is the name of that show. And so we'll be coming off of that production and talking a little further and giving some updates. And then I understand Karen Collender from the Food Pantry might be visiting us next month in November.
Her schedule is such, so we can probably get her at that time. I know that folks in the community are really interested in what's happening with the Food Pantry. It's been in the news, and so we thought
especially with the holidays coming.
Exactly. So it'd be good to hear from Karen about how that organization serves our community, what their role is, and how all that works.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll close for now. Thank you for watching Valley Homes on TV.